When it came to constructing my radio trailer, I initially made another sequence in the Adobe Premiere project, which I'd already made for the documentary. So I thought by keeping it in the same file, it would be easier to locate and sort of keep tracks on. So I made another sequence and named it Radio Trailer. The next thing that I did was import my voiceover, which I'd recorded from my dad's voice, and obviously that was mono again, the same as the other voiceover that I took, so I changed it to stereo. And then the next thing that I did was cut it up in the appropriate places. I then went to the documentary and selected the clips which I wanted to have as audio in my radio trailer, and I copied and pasted them into the other sequence so that they were could link together. The next thing that I did was put the sequence together by putting the voiceover at the beginning, the 3 clips, and then the rest of the voiceover. That was how I initially wanted it, but I thought I'd try and challenge the codes and conventions by putting all of the voiceover at the beginning, at the end, sorry, so the clips would start and then the voiceover would come in. But then, so I got some people to listen to it and they thought that the first one was better, so I have the introduction with the voiceover, then the clips, and then the ending to it, advertising the documentary. I feel that that's the better way because it's conforming to the codes and conventions, as well as sort of introducing the documentary, as well as the radio trailer, because if it just came in with the voice audio from the interviews of my documentary, then people wouldn't really understand what it's about, whereas at least with an introduction it's going to entice them to want to listen on. The next thing that I did was import the music track, so Sleepy Eyes, which I'd imported into the documentary. I used the same track so to keep on similar ground and to keep the link between the two products. I started it, and then to end it I cut it where the radio trailer ends, and I put a fade onto the audio at the end so that it would fade out nicely and you wouldn't sort of notice its initial ending. The next thing that I did was I went through each clip that I'd imported from the documentary, so the voice audio, and as each clip ended and another began, I put a fade and then a timing start so that again it sort of went out smoothly and came in, so you didn't get the initial stop-start from between the audio. The final thing that I did to my radio trailer was put a constant grain transition on the audio between 2 of the clips, so that because when I put the fades on you could still sort of hear it as if it was stopping and then starting, so by putting that constant power on, it sort of enabled the audio to keep going through so that you weren't sort of noticing it, and it flowed a lot nicer and easier. After my audience feedback, I put the audio, I imported it into Sound Booth, and I used the equalizer tool to make sure that it was all at the same level throughout the whole radio trailer, and I then used the pen tool to go through all of the audio and lower any unwanted interference which was sort of messing up with the audio, so I'm really pleased with how it's turned out now.